Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I am playing along with my counterfeit kit challenge for June 2025, and I'm also playing along with 30 days of sketches from Christie's Beautiful Life series 18, and the hashtag is there, and it is day 22, and day 22 layout is this one by Fatima Olivia, and if I said your name wrong, I am sorry. I am going to do these two pictures of my daughter last year finishing up school. These are two pictures her teacher shared, and they're space tomatoes. They're growing space tomatoes, which is super fun. And so I saved some of the photos that her teacher shared that Evie was actually in, so that they could go into her album, because why not? So I'm just chopping these down. They'll be 3x4 size, which is a little bigger than Fatima's, but that's okay. I thought about using this ruler paper, but it's not quite big enough for matting and still being able to see and doing both, so I didn't. You get to see me choose some of my papers, so I definitely know I want to use this School Days one with all of that lovely stuff on the bottom corner, and so I'm cropping that to be the inside box, which is 9x9, and then I'm thinking about where these are going to go, so something like that. And so just figuring out what papers I want to use. I pulled a few. I'm going to put that star one aside, but I'm actually going to use it, and I do like this notepad paper with all the embossing on it. The embossing looks really shiny on screen, but it's not that shiny when you look at it, and the embossing swirlies kind of reminded me of like a plant growing, so I thought it worked well for space tomatoes. I am going to cut 1/4 of an inch off of each side to make this the smaller of the three, or the middle of the three. Sorry, I already did my smaller of the three. And then I had thought about putting the red margins on both, like up and down vertically, and the notebook paper lines horizontally, but I actually like the way it looked with the lines on the top for those red margins, so I'm going to change that. And I'm going to use this really, really old paper that has the stars on it. That's great because it gives a hint of space for the space tomatoes, and it gets a really old page per used up from my stash, because that paper is, I've had it longer than my kids have been around, and my oldest is almost 18. So I did decide to gut both of these papers too, so that I have something to mat my photos on, because I didn't want to introduce another new color, and I don't think I have any scraps of either one of these papers, so I'm gonna gut them, and then I can use them. And I actually end up with very little left for scraps for this too, because I do got, like, there's quite a bit there that I'm going to use. And then got this one. This one I'm putting at 10 on the ruler part, and then on the slider for my cutting part, I'm cutting from 2 to 10. So that gives me about an 8x8 square, which is more than enough to like have covered for these three. And yeah, and then just getting this down and glued right away, because why not? And this is where I decided that the red margin will go on the top. I felt like you could see a little bit more of the embossing doing it this way too. So, and then this, and you don't see a lot of the stars on that background paper for the border, but you do get a hint of it. So, and that's all I really wanted. And then I am going to use the papers this way, and then the lines are going horizontal on the notebook paper this time, which really doesn't bother me. I just thought it would look good while they're actually beside the school stuff. So, and I didn't actually measure this too much. I just eyeballed where I wanted the edge to be on that paper, and then I was taking a look at it, and I'm like, I could do it here, and then I'm like, we're just going to do it 3.5 by 4.5. That gives me lots of border for that one, but not too much. So both of them are about 1/4 of an inch, but not perfect. And then matted, yay. So if you've noticed, I'm only doing the right side of the sketch. And I'm only using 2 photos instead of 3, but my photos are a little bit bigger. I am going to stagger them as well, and I'm using all of that embellishment on that pattern paper kind of as a placeholder for the other picture that's there, because there's a lot of it there. So, and I'm using my X-Acto knife to cut around this star because I want to see this star and not cover it up. So might as well. And then that allows this to come down just a bit more, and this one to come down a bit more. I could have cut out the H to do the same thing in the school. I know it says school. I'm not too concerned about it. I did want to cover up the meet the teacher, and I think the other one had something about back to school. This is like June of last year. They're almost done. So yeah, not a back to school layout. So I wanted to cover that up. The rest of it on the pattern paper works really well for these pictures. So it works great the way it is. Just going to glue a little bit of cardstock on the back here where I cut so that it doesn't catch on anything when I put it in the page protector eventually. And you'll actually not see where I've overlapped the star on the right picture, but you'll definitely see it on the left because I get some other stuff on here. And then I am going to use these dollar store sticker letters. They're like really sticky, which is great, but they do rip easily. So here I am piecing together the S in space and using my tweezers, and then I'm just going to use a marker because these are black to cover up the white spot, and you could hardly tell that I actually ripped that one. I'm going to do tomatoes off screen. So Space Tomatoes is my title, and it wraps around, which I really like. I use this washi tape from 49 and Market because the clip kind of makes sense. They're at school. And then I'm going to use a washi label just to be able to write the date on here, which again is June 2024. And then in front of me, I could see these white stars. So I'm going to add the white stars to this in a few spots. I think I have 4 of them. So use those up. Just looking for something else in here to see if it works. But there's nothing really I want to pop on here. Those puffy stickers, they're not enamel, but they're puffy, are going to go in with all my enamel puffy stuff. And so I pulled out these Studio Calico ones, and I'm going to pull off 3 orange of these. So the top one's a leaf, this one is a sun, and then there's going to be sunglasses, and it just ties in the color of that star and a little bit of orange, but it's not super in your face. And that is the layout all done. So having all of that wonderful bits and pieces on the paper, the front paper for the school days and all those words, really add a lot to that page. So there wasn't a lot I had to do for embellishing. And so, yay. I really like how this one turned out. I will have Christy's Beautiful Life Facebook and playlist listed below. I will link Counterfeit Kit Challenge below, and if I can find a link for Fatima, I will have her linked below too. I would love it if you liked, subscribed, and commented on my layout today. Thank you so much for watching. There is a playlist here in another video. And thank you for watching. Have yourself a great day.